Baldoni's legal counsel just sent us raw footage from It Ends With Us that proves Blake Lively is not being honest in her lawsuit.
Was there a coordinated smear campaign to bring down Blake Lively?
100% no.
Blake Lively had conspired with the New York Times to make him look like this bad individual when really it was all Lively. Well, now he's put all of that in a lawsuit against Lively.
Hey there, drama enthusiasts. It's time to pour some boiling hot tea on a PR crisis that escalated out of hand in record speed. We're talking about a 72-hour collapse that took what should have been a small inconvenience and blew it up into a full-on Hollywood calamity. Trust me, if you think you've seen celebrity train wrecks before, this drama is going to rewrite the handbook on crisis management gone awry. Let's leap into the bloodbath. So, what's the backstory? From It Ends With Us to It Ends in Lawsuits. Well, here's the short version. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni were promoting their next film, It Ends With Us. It's a big deal adaptation with great expectations, particularly around confronting domestic violence topics. Fans had high expectations. Then, in short days, we went from star-studded romantic film to holy meltdown Batman, all because of some poor PR actions that converted a minor brush fire into a blazing inferno. Let's talk how Blake Lively's crew transformed a 24-hour error into a never-ending soap opera.
Weeks ago, Lively sued Baldoni and his production company, alleging harassment on set and a coordinated campaign to attack her reputation. A lawyer for Baldoni called Lively's claims false.
I came here today to say, as a man, that this is wrong, this is toxic, and it has to end.
Mistake number one, Blake Lively, out here pointing the blame at Justin. Picture this, Blake's getting flack for her mood during press interviews. Fans considered her condescending, tone-deaf, or just plain tuned out. So how did her people respond? By blaming Justin. Record scratch. Why is that a massive no-no? Because everything is on video these days, guys. Viewers have eyes, and fans are the internet's finest investigators. If you claim it was all Justin's fault, but there's evidence of you seeming uncomfortable or indifferent, guess what? People know you're attempting to deflect. They'll dig up side-by-side comparisons of your so-called evidence versus reality. And you come up looking dodgy. What should Blake have done instead? Own it. Say, look, I realized my energy might have come across negatively. Let me explain the context. Instead, pointing at Justin made it appear like she couldn't manage her own blunder. People do not enjoy getting gaslit by a celebrity who's all over YouTube in cringeworthy interviews. As a response, the internet did what it does best. Turned investigators. And with each tweet and film analyzing her performance, it fueled the assumption that maybe she was the issue, not Justin.
It was, I saw the red flags, but they didn't look red. They looked kind of fuchsia and cute. But I ignored.
For me, a key part of my faith is figuring out what your individual contribution.
Yeah, I find that we apologize for asking for what we want, but women are, seem perceived as being demanding or difficult.
Second mistake, going with the planted story argument. Yikes. Now comes the breakdown. Second sin, Blake's PR staff claimed that all this bad discussion was a fabricated tale. Facepalm. In the age of smartphones and quick receipts, you can't merely yell fake news to a million eyewitnesses. It's like telling a person who's outdoors in a deluge that it's not truly raining. Here's the problem. If fans witness raw video of you behaving a particular way, telling them they're puppets in some terrifying coordinated smear campaign merely insults their intellect. They feel tricked, which paradoxically intensifies the anger. It's a perfect illustration of how attempting to cover a controversy can make it grow into a full-blown calamity. We've seen it before. Amber Heard attempted it out of context during that major trial, and it backfired terribly. People adore scrutinizing every frame, every grin, every eyebrow lift. If you claim it's all planted, you're really tempting fans to perform even more detective work. The moral? If you're found with your hand in the cookie jar, better to own it, apologize, and move on. Denying it with a "someone planted the cookie" explanation merely quadruples your heat.
There are text messages for all these points. It's the one case we're going to put every single document, every single text message, everything on a website for everyone in the public to read. We have proof and receipts that absolutely and unequivocally show this is not true.
Now for the final, and maybe worst, bungle. Letting your legal team roll in with the heavy guns. Sure, when your brand is under assault, there's a tendency to threaten litigation or throw cease and desist letters about. But guess what? That transforms the narrative from, we care about your concerns, to, we're shutting you down. And in an it ends with us context, a film about domestic abuse and emotional healing, bam, your whole effort is dominated by legal hostility. It's like nuking a mosquito. The overshadowing impact is significant. The more you lawyer up, the more fans suspect you're concealing skeletons. We've seen it over and again. A celebrity threatens litigation. The public says, uh-oh, what are they trying to hide? Then, the meltdown gets nuclear. Typically, crisis managers advocate a methodical approach, not a scorched earth technique. Unless you're positive you can smash any leaks with perfect evidence. The legal approach might be a PR catastrophe. Let's pull this catastrophe together. Unpleasant press interviews. People saw video of Blake acting weird and chastised her. Blake's squad blames Justin. Instead than addressing fans' concerns, they dodged, fueling additional distrust. Planted narrative defense. They claimed the hostility was manufactured. Fans were offended and conducted additional investigation. Lawyers got involved. The show's about DV, but suddenly we're drowning in depositions and legal drama. End result? The breakdown obscured the movie's message, plus destroyed everyone's reputation.
There's Leslie Sloan, who's another PR agent who will be part of this lawsuit. That was Blake Lively's. Blake Lively will be sued. Ryan Reynolds into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit.
Oh boy. 2 weeks ago, Lively sued Baldoni and his production company.
You could think, all right, Maddie, interesting meltdown, but what's it got to do with me? The simple answer, this mess is PR 101, what not to do. Whether you're a tiny company owner, an influencer, or a big shot celebrity, the procedures stay the same. Confront actual issues head on, avoid scapegoating others where receipts exist, never claim planted story if there's solid proof, and use legal threats as a last alternative. In this digital age, it's not about weathering a scandal, but about controlling the narrative by being real and timely in your reaction. If you don't, your collapse can escalate from a 24-hour news cycle to an endless debacle. So, could this have ended in 48 hours? Yes. Hypothetically, if Blake had simply owned the unfavorable impressions. Hey guys, I realized I came off harsh. I was having a difficult day, but let's talk about this important film. The internet might have found someone else to drag by day's end. That's how short news cycles can be. Instead, we got blame, concealment, denial, and the complete ball of wax. Now, the movie is clouded by complicated disputes. When it eventually releases, fans could inquire, wait, is that the film that triggered a meltdown? Instead of concentrating on the message against domestic abuse, they'll remember the catastrophe. That's the sorrow from a PR sense.
For me, a key part of my faith is figuring out what your individual contribution to the betterment of society is, whatever that is. So you could drive a garbage truck. You could be a janitor. You could be a stockbroker. You could be a host. You could be an entrepreneur, whatever that is.
One fascinating angle. Justin sort of popped out of nowhere, brandishing, here's the actual footage text receipts. He's basically saying, look, I have nothing to hide. That approach, bold transparency, can save you if the data is actually on your side. But if it's only partially exonerating, the response may be strong. So far, it's looking like Justin's position could hold water, which heaps further pressure on Blake's side to either provide counter receipts or come clean about the half-truths. Nothing is more unstoppable in the digital era than a celebrity, with a powerful paper trail of innocent comments. Don't assume for a minute that other stars or studios aren't paying attention. They surely are. This collapse has them reconsidering crisis methods, because if a beloved celebrity like Blake can suffer reactions so monstrous it can eclipse her whole clique, nobody is safe. Expect more PR teams to turn to early accountability. Yes, we messed up. Sorry, we'll do better. In hopes of halting any potential meltdown at the gates. If Tinseltown learns from her experiences, maybe fewer fiascos will rise to DEFCON 1. From blaming Justin, with facts stacked against that narrative, to yelling planted story, which fans always see through, to lawyering up, which obscured the sincere purpose of the film, it's a trifecta of PR catastrophe. Ironically, the original subject, It Ends With Us, about domestic violence, has been forgotten in the clamor of litigation and finger-pointing. But let's glean the lesson. In a world where every interview is filmed, every behind-the-scenes moment may be leaked, and fans convert into hyper-skilled detectives, cleaning up slip-ups is practically impossible. The best route? Owning your faults, explaining them swiftly, and allowing your true honesty do the hard work. She's now in a difficult situation. Her once sterling brand could have suffered a damage if a substantial part of the public regards her as manipulative or anti-authentic. It may limit future jobs, even if she emerges legally clean. The harm in public perception can remain. Is it salvageable? Possibly, but only if she and her staff pivot to honesty, humility, and maybe, a genuine apology. We all adore a comeback tale, but that needs a celebrity to confess messing up. Will she do that, or will they keep doubling down on these unethical tactics? Let's summarize those 3 fatal moves: blaming Justin instead of addressing the real interview catastrophe, maintaining the poor media coverage was a staged story, and sending in attorneys to rattle legal sabers, overshadowing the film's whole message. Sure, it's conceivable these actions were done in good faith or under fear, but the outcome's the same: a PR cyclone that's obscured everything the picture was meant to stand for. But hey, don't leave me in a PR breakdown of my own. Hit the like button and subscribe if you want more behind-the-scenes assessments of Hollywood train wrecks, including insider advice on how not to ruin your brand. Because let's be serious, this breakdown is downright instructive for all of us. So, folks, if you're ever in a PR pinch, remember that honesty plus. A timely apology will put out flames faster than a hush-hush payment. By attempting to twist, blame, and legal slap your way out, you could simply soak the flames. Let's see how, and if, Blake Lively rebounds from this spinning catastrophe. Will she turn elegantly or keep doubling down? Only time and the tabloids will tell. For now, I hope you've soaked up these crisis management skills with a good dose of perspective.